Just like in personal relationships, in marketing, connection, creating an emotional connection is so powerful. This is
100%.
why storytelling in brands like Chick-fil-A is so powerful.
Yeah.
People pay more for that chicken sandwich and they go and that business sells and does revenue even though they're closed on Sundays because there's a story that connects with people emotionally.
Are you ready to transform your life? This is a no nonsense show helping immigrants like you create generational wealth, even while working full time. Get ready to take notes. Here's your host, Saket Jain.
Welcome back, Migrate to Wealth listeners. Today, I have the pleasure to bring to you a marketing brain. And you know, my expertise is not in marketing. So I was like, you know what? I do want to talk about messaging, branding. There's so much noise that's happening in the world of is marketing this, is marketing that, how's marketing different than branding versus PR versus lead generation. There's a lot of words you can throw around. So I'm like, you know what? When Margarita's profile came to me, I'm like, this is a perfect person to bring because I do want to and you know, for me, it's always when I'm doing podcasts, I'm actually getting free consulting for my own business, right? So I love being a podcast host for that reason. So a lot of that is going to be clearing the cobweb from my own brain of what
Sure.
marketing is and kind of as I'm thinking ahead. So that's really what I want to say to the audience for you is you're in for a treat because this is a person who lives and breathes marketing. Her company is called Marketing Boss because she and her company wants to empower you to make sure that you feel comfortable leading a team of marketers if you yourself are not a marketer. But that's really what the essence of the company is. So with that said, Margarita, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I'm excited to share ideas.
Love that. I love your name. I love your name. I love the drink more than your name, but I also love your name. Margarita, where are you dialing in from?
So right now I'm actually in Latin America, in Colombia.
Awesome. Is that where you're from? Is that you grew up or?
No, my family's actually from Mexico. I grew up in California, Southern California. If you drop me off in Mexico, I'll get lost. I don't know where to go. I am
Got it.
living in Georgia right now, and I'm here because we have an amazing marketing team that we work with for our company, for our brand, and they're based out of here. So they
Might as well.
excited to extend some time to meet with me and do some things in person. So
Love that. Love that.
that's what I'm doing
Margarita,
here.
thank you. Thank you. So we're going to go into more detail of what you do. But before we do that, we're going to open up with our favorite question. What does the term migrate to wealth mean to you?
For me, it's a very emotional concept to answer that question because, and this is on the internet, I have very humble beginnings. So I grew up in Southern California, immigrant parents. And at first, when I was younger, I thought, oh, money is the answer to so many problems because we didn't have much. There's a story that was published in the LA Times. If you want to research it, my maiden name is Peralta, Margarita or Margie Peralta, if you want to Google it, where I literally had a cockroach crawl into my ear and I wrote an essay about it. Like that's the circumstance I was
Oh
living
my
in.
God.
That's how I grew
Ugh.
up. And so for me, it's been an emotional journey because when I was younger, I thought I want money because I don't have it. And now that I'm older, I have my business, I have 5 children, and now it means to be in a state of gratitude for what you have and really feel things just work out the way that they're supposed to without that struggle and striving that I associated when I was younger with wealth
Right.
building. Because when I was younger, and this is very common in lower income communities, what they preach to you is you have to go to school, you have to work hard, it's going to be difficult, you got to sacrifice. And it's like, no little kid wants that,
No,
right?
no,
And so
you're not motivating them.
yes. And so you stay in this cycle of poverty. And I was very blessed that I met people along my journey that explained to me, no, it's not about just working and not having a life. It's about enjoying the moments, enjoying what you have. And, and yes, you want to pursue career and passion. All those things are important. And so for me, that's been the journey. So the migration to wealth has really been a migration into a mindset where I have the same mindset as these wealthy people that I met, because that to me is my blueprint. The wealthiest people that I've ever met, they're simple people, they're generous, they live in a way that is balanced, they're healthy. I got to see that. I was so blessed that I got to see that, and I got to take the journey that way. And it's been so enjoyable. I am really, really blessed that I had that exposure. And so that's what it means to me.
Love that. Thank you, Margarita, for sharing that. It's always good to figure out where people are coming from. So thank you for sharing that. Margarita, why did you, in your journey and in your pursuit of wealth, which was money at that time, what made you to become a marketer? Did you start as a marketer? Did you become a marketer? Help us understand that.
I think I was born a marketer and didn't realize it. And it's been a process of figuring out what am I, who am I? And it really is a way of life for me. When I was younger, I thought that all these personality traits that I had and the way my brain worked, that it was pointing me toward being an attorney. And I was actually pre-law as an undergrad. But while I was thinking I'm going to be an attorney, I was living marketing. I was the editor-in-chief of my school paper. I was in media. I was just good at that stuff. But I'm over here thinking, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer.
Right.
And even the area of law that I was pursuing was entertainment law. And I had these opportunities that kept popping up in the marketing space, and I performed well, and then another door opened. And long story short, I had this serendipity moment where I embraced it because I met a woman that was really a mentor to me young when I was younger. Right. She founded a magazine called Latina Magazine. Her name is Christy Habeger, and she taught me how to marry the creative piece with the data piece. And that's when I thought, this is the feeling I've been looking for this whole time. And that's how I knew, okay, marketing is really where I fit. It's not the law.
Tell me a little bit more, Margarita, creative and data, right? Because I think a lot of people may not understand that marketing is hard science and soft science together. So let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I'll actually describe it this way. We all have great ideas, right? Wouldn't it be cool to put an ad on TV? Wouldn't it be great to put up a billboard? Wouldn't it be great? We're all creative. We all have creative ideas. And I love data because data gives us a light toward the future. It's almost like a crystal ball if you know how to use it. So I can use data to say to myself, I have this idea for this thing that I want to do. Let's call it a website that I want to build.
Sure.
The data will tell me if I build it this way, I can expect this. If I build it this way, I can expect this. There's data about all of that. A simple example I can give you with websites is there's data about what people are searching and how often every single month on the internet. And if you use that data to make decisions about the exact wording you're going to use on your website, you can then expect that you'll capture some of that traffic. And that's really what SEO is. SEO is this big, mysterious, complicated thing, right? But really the foundation of SEO is, what are people searching? What am I wanting to present to the world? Like what language do I want to use? And how do I make sure it matches?
So Margarita, let's go deeper into that. Let's follow that chain of thought, right? So I think so if I'm a business owner, and once you're in business, you'll realize that for those of you who are not, I don't care how many people come to my website. I care how many sales are coming to my pipeline, right? So even if there is 5 people coming in, but all 5 are buying, I'm fine. But if I got 1,000 people coming in and no one's coming into the pipeline, it doesn't matter, right? So where do you draw the line? Kind of like, is it for awareness versus conversion?
The answer is still in the data, because best practices data tells us that in order for traffic from your website to convert, you have to provide a positive customer experience. So say you have a website and nowhere on your website is there a live chat so I can chat with you. Nowhere on your website is there a form that I can fill out. It's just all click to buy. I don't know who you are yet. You're not on TV. You're not a billboard advertiser yet. How do I connect with you and build trust and actually convert? One common strategy, and again, this is data. There's best practices data. One common strategy is, well, if I have a website that has traffic, but the traffic is not converting, it's either because my messaging is not right or my customer experience, meaning the transactional part, doesn't give enough options. And I have to understand the psychology of people visiting a site. Put yourself in your customer's shoes. When you visit a website, sometimes you're there just to find out what this is about. Sometimes you just want to ask a question. Yeah. And then maybe if they follow up with you later, you'll turn into a customer. So you got to give your users all those different options. So you can use things like lead magnets, or we call them transitional offers, where I'm connecting with you in a very non-committal way, but I'm connecting with you. And I'm building a relationship with you through my website now using the experience that I created on my site. And that's something that the data, the best practices data that's out there tells us that's how that works. So we apply those principles. Now we don't have to guess. We know where to look. If my website is bringing traffic that's not converting, the data already tells me, look at the messaging or look at the customer experience.
Yeah. And Margarita, let's talk about lead magnet, because you use that word. What is a lead magnet?
So a lead magnet is a magnet. Magnet is a figurative word, a way that you attract people that are leads, potential new customers, and you're not selling them something. So for example, on my website, I must have 20, 30 lead magnets because people come to my website with different questions. They may not be ready to hire a CMO, but they might be ready to download a cheat sheet that guides them through how to build content for their website, sure. Right? So now they're in my email list and they're applying some of the resources they're getting from my website. And now we're building a relationship. I'm nurturing that with email, text, or postcards or whatnot. And Great. That's a lead magnet. That's an example of a lead magnet and how that works. A lead magnet is usually something that is either $0 for you to give away or very inexpensive. So another example of a lead magnet is a webinar. A webinar could be a lead magnet. Join my live webinar on how to build wealth if you're an entrepreneur working at a job, how to invest to build wealth. That can be a webinar that you now are promoting. That's a lead magnet because people are going to connect with you and you're going to be able to follow up with them. So those are lead magnets. I love lead magnets because they're a gentle way to connect with people and build relationships. And it goes above and beyond social media, for example. I can see you on social media and never connect with you. But if you use your social media to promote a lead magnet or your website to promote a lead magnet, now I'm connecting with you. Now we're getting to know each other. If I download a lead magnet about Google Ads, now you know that I'm interested in Google Ads and you can connect with me when it comes to Google Ads and we can build a relationship around Google Ads and you helping me with Google Ads. So those are examples of lead magnets. And really, they're not just for websites. They usually live on a website because you need a website, some sort of form to make it work. Opt-in, right? When I do speaking, I do public speaking. I'm an international speaker in my spare time. I will usually say, hey, text the word best self to 42 whatever. That's a lead magnet. And get my free guide on how to manage work-life balance as a mom, right? Because I speak about that a lot because people ask me, how in the world are you sane and smiling with 5 kids and a business?
That is crazy. That's like 7 kids because business definitely takes more than one. More like a. So let's talk about one thing. I love the concept of lead magnet, right? Because when I started my own business, I got 2 businesses right now. This concept is very confusing because as I look at it, and I would love to get your perspective, it's a very crowded space. Because everyone, if let's say marketing for now, PPC, we'll use pay-per-click as an example. Your lead magnet is not the only lead magnet about PPC because every marketer who is doing Google Ads, they're trying to tell people about how to do PPC better, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you distinguish your lead magnet from others because what you don't want people to do, and I'm assuming that to help me understand that if my thinking is correct there is, what you don't want people is to download the lead magnet and ignore you because downloading is not important. It's to getting them value out of there because that's when the relationship starts. You don't want to go on a first date and then turn off completely and run away from the date. You want them to go on a coffee date, get to know you a little bit better, and then you're going multiple days before they marry you, which is in transaction buying something from you, right? So how do you distinguish yourself? Is there a way to do that? Maybe webinars could be another one because not everyone's going to be doing webinar. A lot of people are doing it lazy way, saying, I'm just going to do a PDF. So I don't interact with anybody, right? Because it's a scaling method. How does that look? Does that question make sense to you, Margarita?
Yeah, I love variety for lead magnets. I personally believe to use your metaphor of dating, Not everybody is marriage material, and that's okay. You're not going to be the perfect fit for everybody that downloads your lead magnet, and that's okay. What you want to think about is, how do I do my due diligence to give my different ideal customers different options? So I go after lawyers, and I know that lawyers don't want to read a 60-page PDF.
No. Yeah.
So what did I do? I created a video series. How to growth hack your business in 7 days. I put it on my app, and that is a lead magnet that fits what my ideal customer likes.
Yeah.
But I also have some attorneys that do like the checklists, do like the PDFs. So I have those too. I like variety. What you want to think about is, who is your ideal customer? What do they like? And don't stress about the ones that are not going to buy, because there's always going to be those. But your ideal customer, what are they more likely to be attracted to in a lead magnet? And again, there's data. You can do some research. Look at what your competitors are doing, what's working for others in your space. And then the other piece is creativity. So we have a methodology at Marketing Boss that we call the Bossy Method, and it took us a while to come up with that. I want to give a shout out to a business consultant that I work with, because I needed a me to be outside my own head and give me ideas. Prestige Consulting, they work in the legal space as well, and they helped us come up with this Bossy Method. It's a signature methodology, and we created a lot of content and a lot of lead magnets around this methodology. B stands for business audit, O stands for optimization, right? It's an acronym. That was a creative lead magnet now that's starting to distinguish us, where, the Bossy Method, the Bossy Method. And we have a law firm marketing playbook that shows you step by step how to apply the Bossy Method. And it's a lead magnet. Download it for free. There's also video content around it. So if you don't want the paper and you want to watch the videos, fine, watch the videos. They're on social media. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's like 10 videos. Those are examples of, okay, now I'm being creative to make myself stand out. And it always begins with the customer. What journey, the big question is, what journey are you creating for your ideal customer? And how can you give them the different options so that they have choices and they have different paths? The other thing to think about with lead magnets, and really in general with your marketing, is you have a journey that you're creating for your customers. It's a funnel, right? We begin with, we don't know who you are, and then we're getting to know you, and then we go down the funnel. Oh, now we're sold. Some people go down that.
And Margarita, people may not understand the concept of funnel. So let's actually simplify it. It's really a funnel. Funnel is like an inverted triangle, right?
Yes.
Which is the broader base is on the top. So it's an inverted pyramid. What we're basically saying is, you want millions of people to come to your website, or whatever you want to come them to come to. It could be a social media, whatever. But not everyone's going to be a customer. Out of that, some people are going to say, it's like a Tinder, right? I'm using Tinder as an example.
I was going to say, let's stick to dating. You have a dating funnel. You have a pool of people that you kind of sort of think, maybe. And you talk to them, and then you swipe.
Yeah, and then some people that you date, you're going to go on a second date, a third date, a fourth date, and maybe one of them you'll end up marrying. Maybe, or at least getting into a longer-term relationship. So the funnel is broad, too many profiles. Out of that, you're going to select a few. You're going to go to one single date. You're going to go to multiple dates. You're going to find a long-term partner, right? Yeah. That's really what the funnel is. And so now in that context, Margarita, let's go back to your idea of a funnel, of when you were trying to describe a marketing funnel. How does that look for a marketing funnel? So
the typical marketing funnel is, at the top, you have awareness, and then you have where you're building that relationship, and now you have preference, and then you have what's called the conversion, which is the sale. If you want to keep it simple, that's really what it is. And to go back to your metaphor of dating, or even career, right? If I am trying to build a career and I want to be the VP or the CEO of a corporation, I go to LinkedIn and I think to myself, I'm going to now build a funnel on LinkedIn by working on my personal branding on LinkedIn, so that I can present myself to the corporations that would be ideal for what my career goals are, and I can look attractive to them. And then one day you get a DM from a headhunter. Hey, would you like to come work at so-and-so? We have an open position we think you would be great for. Now you're communicating. And then when there's a hire, that's a conversion.
I
So the
love it,
funnel
Margarita.
applies.
I'm gonna pause you for a quick second there because I think this is so absolutely beautiful what you just said. At least from my perspective, no credit to me, but I think marketing is, if you don't have a business, does not mean you don't need marketing, right? We live in the world where we're constantly marketing. Your marriage is marketing. You're marketing to your children. You're marketing to your bosses. You're marketing to your friends. You're always communicating about what do you offer to them. That's
Yes.
marketing, period, right? So, and when you said about career, because I do think that there's going to be some people who are listeners, they're going to say, oh, this is all about marketing, or business. I don't need to listen to marketing. No, it's not true, because you can apply the same principles to career, right? To even, let's say you're not job hunting, but you are looking for promotion within your company. That's marketing, because there are multiple candidates. How do you convince your bosses to look at you as a promotion worthy candidate?
Mhm.
That's marketing, period. Right? So when we're talking about these concepts, don't think you need to have a business. I think what we're saying is you need to have somebody transact with you. It could be a position in kind, or it could be monetarily. So how do you convince that you're transaction worthy? That's really what we're talking. And sorry if I'm bringing it too crude. It's really, that's what it is, that you and your business and your entity that you're promoting is transaction worthy. How do you
Yep.
establish that? Margarita, did I completely ruin your marketing creativity?
No. I
by
love
saying
it, and
that?
I actually have a funny story that I would love to share. When I first got married over 15 years ago, I'm divorced now, but when I first got married 15 years ago, I married someone that lived very different than me. I'm very neat, orderly, and this is how much of a marketer I am. I had a marketing campaign that consisted of Post-its, and I wrote the words "clean and clear" on the counters on the table.
Wow. I love that. I love that.
Clean and clear. I created a marketing campaign to try to get my spouse to put his things away.
Did it work?
No, it didn't.
No.
Like I said, I'm divorced. Yeah. Anyway, maybe I'm not that good of a marketer at home, but it is a way of
No.
life.
Some
It is a
people
way
are
of
not
life.
some people are not your target audience.
He was not an ideal. Yes, he was not an ideal customer.
Yeah.
But I do it with my children too. My children are all boys, and I use marketing strategies and messaging. I repeat things because in marketing, we have data that tells us that you've got to repeat something 5 times in order for somebody to take action.
Oh, wow.
And knowing that, hey, we're going to leave in 15 minutes. Hey, we're going to leave in 10 minutes. Hey, we're going to leave in 5 minutes. Hey, you should start getting your shoes on. This is marketing. It's remarketing.
And I think it's I love this conversation, Margarita, because I think there's a lot to marketing is very frustrating.
Yeah.
If I think about marketing, is because, like, I've already told you we have to leave in 10 minutes. Why can't you listen? Right? And yeah, you may be able to do that at your home with your kids, and you may get away because you're an authority figure and they may listen to you because of that tone. But the customers, your potential customers, are going to treat you the same way. Just because you have told them they need to do something and they need it does not mean they're going to listen.
But let me open your mind a little bit.
Please.
Just like in personal relationships, in marketing, connection, creating an emotional connection is so powerful.
100%.
This is why storytelling in brands like Chick-fil-A is so powerful.
Yeah.
People pay more for that chicken sandwich, and they go, and that business sells and does revenue even though they're closed on Sundays, because there's a story that connects with people emotionally. So similar in your personal life, when you have an emotional connection, because I'm a marketer, I actually subscribe, not to get off topic, but I actually subscribe to conscious parenting, because conscious parenting, similar to marketing, is all about, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to connect with you, have a relationship with you, and persuade you, not in a controlling way. And I think when you try to control your target customer, just like in relationships, that's where the marketing gets frustrating, because you keep offering the thing, right? And it's frustrating that they don't buy, and it's exhausting.
Yeah, it's exhausting. I'm new. I was new to marketing when I started my business. I'm like, why can't they listen? It's simple. It's not that hard. What I'm telling them makes sense. Well, it makes sense to me. And I know it makes sense to them, and they need it, but they're not there yet because they don't believe in me. Forget about my messaging. They don't even know who I am. So why
Or
would they listen?
there's something emotional that's tripping them up, and you're over here appealing to their logic. So say I want to sell you this Yeti, right? I want to sell you this Yeti, and I can
It's a
tell you,
beautiful white color. I love that.
yes, look, it's a Marketing Boss branded one.
Yeah.
Product placement. I tell you, hey, you need this Yeti. It's $60. It's got this amazing logo on it, and it's going to keep your coffee hot. You already tuned me out. You don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
But if I'm observing you and I'm thinking, you do these podcast interviews and you must get so thirsty and you must get tired and it must be so impractical to have to get up. Imagine having something at your desk that'll keep your drink nice and cool for you.
Yeah.
So that you can do your podcast and take a little sip and it's attractive. You see how I changed the angle? Rather than pitching you on the qualities of my product, I connected with you. I made an observation and I told you about yourself.
Completely, Margarita. I have a mentor who always says that make sure you touch the heart, because the heart places an order to the mind to buy. It's not the other way. It's not the other way, because we're always trying to convince people you should buy it because this makes sense, because this is going to help you with the kids and all that good stuff. That's all mind. That's all logic. And it may be true. I'm not saying it's wrong, but they're not making the decision to their mind. They're making the decision to their heart. And what you just did was, when I'm podcasting, I'm on back-to-back podcasting, I do need a hot drink or a cold drink or whatever I want. And I hate going downstairs to get every time I have to do that, because I don't want to do that. I'm like, oh, great. You know what? This is a great example of that cup may actually help me. Margarita, send me 5 of those. Done.
But hey, use this in an interview. You go to an interview with an executive and you want to get hired for a position. Why not ask the executive, hey, how's your day going? Oh, I'm stressed out, working all the time. Well, I'm a very proactive person.
Yeah.
When I join your team, I'm going to help with some of that stress that you've got going on. Now I'm like, oh, I'm excited to hire this one. Again, I'm playing to the emotion above the logic. Yes, the logic still comes into play. It's still in the messaging, but it's the emotion. I love. If anybody that's listening to this likes to read, there's a author, Donald Miller, who teaches.
Oh, storyboard. Oh,
the story book.
Love that book.
I just broke it down for you. Yeah. The storyboard is all about my product, my agenda, my sales goals is irrelevant. It's not important to my customer. What's important to my customer is, what are they living right now? What are their problems? How are they feeling? Yeah. Let me speak to that. And this is why I love content marketing and branding. And I always tell business owners that we should always think about our branding. Our branding, me spending money, a couple $1,000s on these Yetis didn't bring me customers to where I can say, oh, I've got, $2,000 worth of revenue that I can attribute to this Yeti. But you know what it did? It created a wonderful customer experience with my attorney clients, where I got them a good quality onboarding gift that I give them. Oh, you're a Marketing Boss client. Here's your Marketing Boss Yeti. Welcome to the family. And now they're going to their legal conferences with their nice little Marketing Boss Yeti. Yeah. And this is creating visibility. It's creating an experience. I've got customers that will send me pictures of them driving in their Mercedes or their, zippity little cars. And look at your Yeti. It's my favorite cup. It fits perfectly in the cup holder. Right. That's valuable. That's branding. I can't tell you exactly how much money that's worth, but I know anecdotally that that's valuable, because I'm creating an experience for my customers, and I'm branding myself, and I'm branding my, through this promotional item. Correct.
I love that, Margaret. Thank you for bringing Donald Miller's name, because story brand is probably the most simplistic way that people can think about it. And you'll actually start thinking about it. And what I recommend to you is, if you end up reading that book, any of the listeners, I highly recommend it. I think it's a must. If you're going to go into a business, or if you're looking for a career growth, or you're doing anything where you want to come as somebody's guide, somebody's potential problem solver, you want to look at that book, because what it'll tell you is... Or you want to convince
your kids to work on their schoolwork.
Completely. It's really that simple, and it puts them before you. Now, I think all of us have heard customers come first, right? But no one understands it. I didn't. when I was launching my business. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, it really means that you have to, your whole terminology, your whole vernacular has to be customer first. It's not just customer is right. That's less important.
That's the toxic version.
That's the talking version, right? A customer is coming to return at Nordstrom, no matter what, they're going to return it, even if you didn't buy from it, from Nordstrom. So, but I think it's just that you're putting your customer first, their interests first, their needs first, their problems first. But that doesn't mean you don't make money, right? I'm not saying it's charity, because business is not charity. You're gonna hate the business if you think it's charity. It's not. But you have to convince them there is a problem. Most customers are not even aware of there is a problem. Most children are not aware that there is a problem. You have to make them aware that there is a problem. If they don't do this, this is the problem that it may create. They have to be made aware of it. So I know, Margarita, we're going to talk about a completely different thing, but I love this discussion even more than what we're going to talk about. This is very, very powerful. So in your experience, Margarita, why is creating a connection with the customer so hard for people?
I think that we get anxious as business owners sometimes about the sale, and we come at it from a mindset of lack. I'm investing in this business. It needs to make me money. And to me, that energy is low, a lack focus, where I'm thinking about what I need, what I don't have. And that creates an anxiety around how you handle your business, including your marketing. And it just completely ignores the importance of that connection, because you're in such a hurry to make a sale that you skip over the most powerful part that really, like, I'll give you an example. The typical business doesn't have a brand guide. Most businesses that I meet, they don't have a brand guide because they didn't think it was important. They had somebody on Fiverr design a logo, or their cousin or whatever. And, they picked some colors that they liked. And then they started just throwing the marketing out to get the revenue, to get the leads. So then when I come into those businesses and I say, your logo looks like a Wendy's logo. It does not look like a law firm logo. This is probably what's psychologically repelling your ideal customer, because they're looking for a serious business. Or you have a lion that looks like the pots and pans,
Correct.
company. Psychologically, that's what's repelling your customers. Now we got to go back and clean that up. We could have just done it right from the beginning and spared ourselves, because we could have focused on what is my customer like, asked ourselves that question first, versus what do I want to sell, how much I want to sell, how fast do I want to sell it, and what do I need to do. I usually have to slow business owners down, and I do it gently, but the conversation that I have to have with a lot of them is like, whoa, don't come in here asking me about how many leads, and let's take a look first. Who is our ideal customer? Let's create a brand guide. Let's have a strategy for how we're going to connect with people and brand and come at them. And then the tactics are last. And it's like, they're like this, like my toddler, like, are we there yet? Are we there? And a lot of what I have to do is help them see, look, if we do this up front, we're not going to hit that ceiling that all your competitors are hitting. Because you do get to a glass ceiling when you do marketing that way, from a place of lack of, you're just focused on the lead gen. You're just focused on the sale, on the ask. Buy now, buy now, buy now. That repels people. How much money did Chick-fil-A spend on coming up with the cows idea? How powerful is that?
Yeah.
How much money have companies spent on jingles? How much is that even worth? We don't even know. Those are intangibles that are branding, that are so valuable. It's like gold. It's sticky. It matters. It's important.
So Margarita, let's segment the population into two, business owners into two kind of businesses, right? One is an established business who has, let's say, $1 million in revenue coming in. I'm making up a number. Versus somebody else who's just starting out, right? So I think and I'm going to piggyback on the comment that you just made, that logo is a Wendy's logo, but if you designed it right from the beginning, help us parse that out for a second, right? So because I struggled with that when I started the businesses, that do I invest in marketing and branding and logo, or do I go find customers? Because the cash flow is the life and blood of the business. You need to be able to make the revenue. For all the business owners who think that the revenue can wait for 5 years, it cannot. So there's an optimization piece where you need to start, but you need to start it right, but not perfect. where you're starting to make sure that there's a value add you're providing. Your logo may be Wendy, and maybe it needs to be Starbucks, who knows, whatever the brands are. But I think there are elements of marketing that you want to start thinking about. And if it's not perfect, if you don't have the capacity to sustain a CMO and you're not a marketing brain, there are some starting elements that you can get to. Can you talk about that, Margarita?
Absolutely. And I definitely want to share that me personally, I started with my name as my company because it took me a minute to get to the marketing boss concept. But I started my business and I started generating revenue and I put together a quick logo, a quick website. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to have the awareness that, hey, at some point I have to address this. Sometimes you address it a couple months into the business. That's totally fine. I have a law firm client right now that's doing a rebrand, and she hired a PR consultant, and the PR consultant said, well, I don't want to push out any materials until we finish the new logo, until we finish the new website. And me and her were like, no, people are buying her. I don't care if it's the old logo or the new logo. We got to push this stuff out. We've got to get leads. And that's totally fine. You just have to have an understanding of why are you doing what you're doing? And are you following best practices for this thing that you're doing? And then get clarity on what is the purpose of this thing that you're doing. Is it leads or is it branding or is it a little bit of both? Have that clarity. One common example is vendors will sell social media services and business owners will buy social media services. They sell it wrong and they buy it wrong. And then they come to me and they say it didn't work. So I'll walk you through that scenario. Hey, vendor, I want a social media strategy. Sure, that's what we do. We do social media. Okay, how many posts will I get a week? And how much is that? The conversation's already wrong. The vendor should be asking you, why do you want to do social media? Do you want to generate leads? Or do you want people to see you? Do you want followers? Do you want to go viral? What are you looking for? Most vendors don't do that. Why? Because they make money off of the labor of creating the content. And so they go straight into it. And it's a toxic thing, really, because then they come to me a year or two later and say, I spent $100,000 on social media and didn't generate leads. And then I have to be the one to say, you know what? You can't blame your vendor. They gave you what you paid for, and you're the one that asked for this. Yeah. You should have asked for a lead generation strategy on social media, which I could tell you, and your vendor could probably tell you, if you want leads, run ads.
Very true. Very true. Margaret, this is amazing because I know I have wasted a lot of time and money on simple things by learning by hit and trot. I'm not saying they were wrong. They were valuable learnings, but I think there's a way to avoid those learnings. Let's talk about the product that you've created for new business owners.
I'm excited to share that we have packaged a lot of these best practices that we notice business owners are not getting, whether they're graduating from business school or just learning about business on the street, right? There's patterns. And so we've created an app that if you're thinking about starting a business, or you already have a business, but you're not at the point where you want a CMO or need a CMO or our services, but you don't want to make these mistakes. You want to save some money. You want to understand and have a good documented plan, and you want to have the right kinds of conversations with your vendor. You want to ask the website vendor, are you going to build me an SEO optimized website, or is it just going to be pretty?
Yeah.
How many leads can I expect? Do I need a CRM connected to my website? We educate you on all of those things inside our app. And it's free. There's a lot of free resources. So we have a growth hack series, which is the video series that I talked about. It's for law firms, but I'll be honest, if you're not a law firm, you can still apply. It's just using messaging for our target avatar, which is law firm owners. There's also a couple of courses on there that are paid courses, but it's very affordable. I've put everything that I do for people as a consultant into a course called Think Like a Marketer, Grow Like a Boss, a very appropriate name. And you take this course and it's just a couple of bucks and you go in there and it walks you through. This is how a website works. This is how social media works. This is how you put together a plan, and it takes you step by step through that process, and you can avoid all these things.
Love it. And Margaret, tell us about the special offer that you were able to offer to the listeners of this podcast.
Absolutely. So you can go to our website, which is marketing-boss.com, or you can just go to the App Store on whatever mobile device and just look at Marketing Boss app, download it. Free for everybody. for your listeners, once they download the app, if they DM us inside the app that they heard about the app through your show, we will unlock any course of their choosing for a month at no charge. So they can actually take advantage of the paid courses at no additional charge. We have a sales course. We have a video marketing course for bosses. So this is not your typical, oh, lighting, oh, sound. No, it's how do I deal with the stress if I hate making videos? How do I channel that into a smile? So we teach you all of that. So it's for, and then we also have the Think Like a Marketer, Grow Like a Boss course as well. And then we have a ton of resources, resource library. So we'll unlock the module of their choosing for your listeners for a month. So they can just poke around, check some stuff out, and take advantage of that content that, again, it's designed to help you understand the fundamentals in very simple ways so that you can make decisions that aren't going to cost you or that you're not going to regret, or you're not going to have these conversations with vendors and then get blindsided and get sold something that really wasn't what you were needing because you didn't know how to ask. If you need
and Margarita, I cannot emphasize that enough, because I get pinged on LinkedIn, phone, hey, I can grow your leads. I know now you can't. Especially if you're doing a LinkedIn post to me, you cannot, because you have no idea what my business is, right? The claim may be right, but I'm not listening to that. I'm basically ignoring it. But there was a time where I'm like, oh, wow, I can grow my leads by hiring a vendor. I had no idea what questions to ask. That I had to learn all of that side. And I was a business consultant. I was helping companies grow their businesses.
Yeah.
Right? And I didn't know how to ask those questions. So it's a skill that you need to develop. Doesn't mean it's a hard skill. It's a learnable skill. But you need to make sure you're using the right resources for that. And thank you, Margarita, for giving such a generous offer to our listeners. So I encourage you all to at least explore it, learn it. If you're thinking about launching a business, if you already have a business, or even if you don't have a business and never want to have a business, I think these skills are invaluable, right? If you can learn it from within the company. If you're an employee, you can still use those skills, because marketing is evergreen. It's never going to end. With that, Margarita, we're coming to the end of our show. We usually end with a few questions. The first question is going to be, there's a 20-year-old Margarita here somewhere listening to the show. What's one insight you can give to that Margarita?
Have a lot more fun. I think that a lot of society and cultural norms teach us that we've got to work hard and work through everything. And I'm all for it. I love working hard. But I think if you focus on having fun, you learn more about yourself and you get a lot more information a lot faster when you're following your bliss, the way Oprah puts it, right?
Right.
I would tell 20-year-old Margarita to have a little bit more fun and play more within the context of the goal.
Right.
I was very goal-oriented in my 20s, and I still am. But I think now I have a much better balance, and I'm way more productive now that I'm having more fun.
Love that. Margarita, now let's abstract that question a little bit better more. Where do you feel there's a gap in humanity right now? Where should humans migrate to?
Connection. We've been talking about connection with customers and emotional connection. I think that it's a mirror in marketing of how we are so transactional in society. It's follow me, like my post. It's date me, marry me, whatever the context is. And we're not taking the time to just savor connections.
Yeah.
And I think that is a human issue right now, where we are just detached. As a mother of 5, I see it with my kids, where they will be in the same home playing on different devices, and they're like, that's how they're connecting with each other. And I'm like, can you guys go outside and just throw a football around?
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. It's kind of funny you say that, because my daughters, we're going to go visit our friends in DC. So they're like, but everyone plays on the phone there. They don't have a phone, right? So I think they're going to come an age where they're going to do the exact same stuff. But for now, they don't have phones. They're 8 and 10. They don't have phones. They're like, well, we don't want to go there because they don't want to play. They're just on their phones, and they're playing with each other on the phone. And that's what they think that playing is. That's not connection. That is a connection in the virtual world, but that's not the real connection that you're talking about, correct?
Yes, I think that what we have is the illusion of connection is distracting us from real connection.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm in Latin America physically with my team. I don't have to be here. We can Zoom.
Yeah.
But I chose and they chose, let's spend some time together. Let's work together.
Right.
You know, they're doing meetings right now. I'm in their office space and I'm immersed in their energy. That's the kind of connection that is going to help us advance in our business relationship because they're getting to know me as a person. My personality is my marketing. When you follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or whatnot, you see the quirky, the fun. My marketing team creates a lot of that content for me. They can't do that if they don't know how I am.
Who you are. Yeah.
In those
Makes
in-between spaces, in between meetings where I'm cracking jokes.
Yeah.
Where they're teasing me about, they say I eat bird food because I like to snack on little chia seeds. And they tease me about the bird food and we laugh about it. And there's this nice interaction. That's not going to happen on a Zoom. We're not going to go to dinner on a Zoom. We're not going to experience those emotions and really go deep. And that's what's missing in humanity is we are so connected that we're distracted from these opportunities to create real connections. I'm not against virtual. I love it. That's the space I live in. But let's connect in person. Let's meet in person. Let's really go deep and be aware of how the other person is feeling. And going back to marketing, that's where the real marketing magic happens. Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, understood something about society, that society was nostalgic for values. And he tapped into that. What does that have to do with a chicken sandwich? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
But look at what a powerful brand was built. That was the seed of it. So I think that we have an amazing opportunity because we're so connected in the digital world that we live in to connect on a deeper level because we have all these different dimensions. And I think that it would be great if people became more aware and more proactive about opportunities to connect beyond that. Let's not let the digital connectivity create a space where we're ignoring other types of connections because the digital is more superficial. And so when we connect with ourselves, with other people, and connect to the world around us, we're now tapping into the emotion and we're more sensitive to that. And I think that's something that's missing. And it's life is a lot more fun that way too when you connect like that.
Yeah, love that, Margarita. Margarita, thank you again for all your time and your insights. Really appreciate it. I know the conversation was in a very different direction than we were thinking of taking it, but this is actually a much better conversation, a much needed conversation. So thank you, Margarita. I know you shared where they can download your app. Tell us again so that we can make sure that we need to tell people 5 times. So let's at least tell them twice.
You can go to your Apple or Android device and search Marketing Boss, and you will see the app. You can also go to our website, and there's a landing page for the app, so you can learn more about it before you download it. And the website is marketing-boss.com.
Perfect. Margarita, thank you again for your insights. Appreciate it. And for the listeners, hopefully you got a lot of value out of it. You're in the business, you're thinking about the business, or you're never going to be in the business. This is a very important skill. I've learned it the hard way, and I'm hoping that you can learn it. You don't have to make the mistakes I made to learn this skill, and I'm still learning. Margarita, thank you again. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Sure.
If you got value from this episode, you might consider sharing this content with a friend. But most importantly, be sure to take action on what you've learned. One way you can take the next step is to connect directly with Socket on an investor call. That link is waiting for you in the show notes below.